Hello viewers, welcome to the Classic Education YouTube channel. I am Dr. R.V. Chitgupi, the Faculty of History at Classic KS and IS Study Circle, Dharwad. Friends, today I am with one of the most important topic for the competitive examinations, as UPSC and KPSC mains examinations are fast approaching. So, one of the topic is on mainly the art and culture, and in that the most important thing is about the Ajanta paintings or the frescoes of Ajanta. The Ajanta paintings or the frescoes of Ajanta, this is my topic today for the discussion, and this is from the mains point of view and also from the prelims point of view or from any other examination. It can be useful to you. So, here mainly before we go to here the study of this Ajanta frescoes or the Ajanta paintings, just we will try to know here the growth of the art of painting in India. So, this art of painting in India is considered to be one of the ancient art, and this art developed in the prehistoric period. In the prehistoric period, we have the growth of this, the art, and the best example for this are the paintings at Bhimbetka caves in Madhya Pradesh, which belong to the prehistoric period of Mesolithic age. So, this is the beginning of the art of painting what we have got, the here earliest evidence going back to prehistoric period there. Followed by then coming to historical period, we have the evidences of the painting from the Indus Valley civilization. Indus Valley civilization paintings are available for us. The evidence of the painting is there. So, this went on later development under the Guptas, under the Cholas. Then we have got here the Vijayanagara, followed by that we have the Mughals, then here the British period. So, the painting went on developing here in India. Even at the regional dynasties also the painting developed. The most important are the Rajasthani paintings, the Orissa paintings, the Gujarat paintings. So, these are regional paintings what we have got. Like this, the art of painting right from ancient period till the present period it has developed. So, here the one of the ancient paintings which have been well preserved today here are the paintings at the Ajanta caves. The paintings at Ajanta caves are well preserved here. So, this is here mainly the earliest here the painting evidence here which have been well protected, well preserved and well maintained, because the Indus Valley civilization we have got very fragmentary here evidences of the paintings, but Ajanta paintings have been well preserved today. So, here this work here mainly has been done here by the Archaeological Survey of India and also with the support of the UNESCO. That is why we find the Ajanta paintings is one of the best example to study our ancient Indian art of painting. So, with this here we will try to know about this here mainly the paintings at Ajanta. So, Ajanta caves. So, first where they are located. So, Ajanta caves are located in the state of Maharashtra, Aurangabad district. In the state of Aurangabad, in the state of Maharashtra, Aurangabad district, we have these here the caves of mainly J. Ajanta, which are known for the Buddhist paintings and sculptures. Mainly the caves are well known for the Buddhist paintings as well as the sculptures, dating between 2nd century BC to 7th century AD. So, if you look at the caves excavation, they do not belong to the single period. So, the period or the duration is from 2nd century BC to 7th century AD. Here covering the rule of the Shatavahanas, Vakatikas, Guptas and early Chalukyas of Vatapi. So, here the caves belong to here mainly these dynastic, and all the evidences of these dynasties are available at these caves. The Vakatikas, the Shatavahanas, Vakatikas, Guptas and the early Chalukyas here of Vatapi. So, that is what we have got mainly the here the caves there. So, there are mainly 29 caves. So, in Ajanta we have got 29 caves, out of which 25 are viharas and 4 are chaityas. So, if you know here the Buddhist architecture here which has evolved in India, the most important monuments of the Buddhist architecture are the stupas, viharas and the chaityas. So, the architecturally chaitya and viharas both are mainly the cave structures, both are cave structures, but from the utility point it is differences there. So, chaityas are the prayer halls where the Buddhist monks would sit and offer the prayers. We will see the photographs of that also. And viharas, as you know, that they are the residential places for the Buddhist monks. So, both are cave structures, but here the utility purpose they are totally different. One is a prayer hall, that is chaitya, and vihara is a residential place there. So, totally we have 29 caves here at Ajanta there, which were buried in the dense jungle. The dense jungle of the Western Ghats, they were buried there. So, this was mainly we would have lost here these here the caves and the most valuable source of the painting of ancient India there, had it not been accidentally discovered by Captain John Smith in 1819 while he had been to hunting. When he was on a hunting expedition, John Smith, he discovered these caves, that is in 1819 the Ajanta caves were brought to light. So, that is what we have got mainly the Ajanta caves, how they came to light, otherwise they would have been lost to us here in the dense forest and the mountainous region of the here Western Ghats. So, we would have not had this mainly the precious source of the painting art in the ancient period. So, this was discovered in John Smith. Later on we have here the conservation activities were taken here, and today they are well preserved there. The 29 caves excavated are in a horseshoe shape, well preserved paintings and sculptures are there. So, they are having a here mainly if you look at here the view of this mainly the Ajanta 29 caves, they are in a horseshoe shape, or architecturally word what we use is apsidal, horseshoe or apsidal. So, these mainly here the caves are 29 in number. Paintings are frescoes in nature. So, just what were the characteristics of this painting? The features of this painting I will just explain to you. The paintings are frescoes in nature. So, what you understand by term frescoes? Frescoes is a part of the mural paintings. Mural paintings are wall paintings. The wall paintings are known as mural paintings and frescoes are the part of it. So, mainly when the wall in the caves or in the temples, here we have a very rough surface of the walls. So, first by applying a plaster, the surface is smoothened, and when it is dried they are mainly painting is there. But here in frescoes, after the plaster is applied, before it dries, it is still wet, the painting is performed, and the Ajanta paintings are frescoes in nature. So, the plaster is applied on the walls to give a smooth surface, and before that plaster dries, the paintings have been done. So, that is here it is one of the nature, the frescoes in nature. Herbal paints are used, the use of the herbal paints used there. Red, white, green, yellow, black and blue are prominent colors there. These are the prominent colors which have been used here in the here Ajanta paintings. Paintings of Buddha's life, Jataka tales, Bodhisattvas are there. So, what are the major Buddhist paintings we have got is most of them are here about Buddha's life. And the Jataka tales. Jataka tales are the stories here mainly dealing with the previous births of Buddha. They deal with the previous births of Buddha and Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva means here the mainly person who will attain the Buddhahood. The previous stage is called as Bodhisattva. The next stage will be here the Buddhahood. So we have these paintings on the mainly the walls of Ajanta there. Now we are coming to the most important part. So the paintings what we have got here at Ajanta. So in all the caves here the paintings have withered out, or here we no more see those paintings. But there are few caves which have been well preserved. So like cave number 1, cave number 2, 6, 9, 10, 16, 17, and here these caves are well preserved for the paintings. They have very good paintings here. And sculptures are there in almost all the caves we have got. Sculptures are present. So, but as it is a painting aspect, I will be not discussing about the sculpture. Sculptures aspect will be not discussed here. So, I will be telling only the paintings present, which are here the paintings. So, we travel to these caves and try to know which are the important paintings. So, in cave number 1, we have the paintings Padmapani and Vajrapani Bodhisattva. So, I told you who is a Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva is a person who is here on the verge of attaining the Buddhahood. He is on the verge of attaining the Buddhahood. That is a Padmapani and Vajrapani Bodhisattva's painting. In the first cave we have got it. Then we have got the miracle of Shravasti. Shravasti is a place here in Uttar Pradesh. Buddha stayed here before he went to Kushinagar for Mahaparinirvana. So, Shravasti, for many years he had stayed in this place. So, a miracle took place where Buddha converted himself into many here the forms. So, they are called as the 1000 Buddhas. So, that is what we have got. Like what we have got in our Hindu mythology, we have got Vishwarupa of the god Vishnu. So, in that way here in Buddhism also we have got this Buddha converting himself into here the thousands of Buddhas. So, that is the miracle of Shravasti it is called as. The story of Siddhartha and Yashodhara, that is the early stage. So, Buddha's early name was Siddhartha and his queen was here Yashodhara. That is what we have got. Siddhartha and Yashodhara, they belong to a royal family there. They belong to the royal family there. So, there mainly the painting is there, but it is almost here lost to us today. The Mahajanaka Jataka, announcing his abdication to become an ascetic. So, this is the Mahajanaka Jataka. Jataka are the Jataka stories, where the king is announcing about his abdication to become an ascetic. Sibi Jataka, undergoing the traditional rituals for renunciation. So, he want to renounce his worldly life and he want to become a sannyasa or a ascetic. So, for that he is undergoing the traditional rituals. And the most important is the Persian ambassador, the painting of the Persian ambassador. All these paintings are present in the cave number 1 and they are well preserved today. So, I will just say just one thing I will tell you. The miracle of Shravasti is repeated in many caves. In one of the cave I will be showing you there. So, just I gave you here these here mainly the paintings which are there. So, in one cave you will be seeing this because the miracle of Shravasti is repeated in many of the caves there. So, if you see these paintings, you can see the photographs now. So, once you look at the photographs, you can come to know this is here Padmapani. Why it is called as Padmapani? Remember it, you can see a here lotus is being held by that Bodhisattva. There is a lotus in the hand. Padma, Padma means lotus. And Vajrapani, that is the Vajra, the crown. So, Padmapani and Vajrapani paintings at here the first cave. These are the most well preserved paintings what we have got, and you can see these photographs here, the pictures, the postcards, here the greetings, they have been made, and even the different types of painters, modern painters have painted these, mainly the paintings here. The Padmapani and Vajrapani paintings in cave number 1 we have got. In cave number 1 itself, this is Sibi Jataka undergoing the traditional rituals for renunciation. You can see here the rituals are being performed, and he is mainly now giving up his worldly life or the life of comfort, the kingly life, and he is going to become an ascetic. That is Sibi Jataka, and we have these attendants before him and his wife here beside before he goes to the renunciation. That is the Sibi Jataka story is there. And this is very important, that is about the Persian ambassador. You can see the dresses worn by him. It is on the identification of the dresses. So the Persian ambassador, it is said that this painting belongs to the early Chalukyas of Vatapi. Early Chalukyas of Vatapi, this painting belongs to. And it is mainly known from the Tebari accounts. The Tebari accounts, here was mainly the court historian of the Persian king Khusrau II. So his accounts mention an ambassador had been sent in the 7th century here to India, and he had visited the kingdom of the Chalukyas and the court of Pulikeshi II. And that painting here is mainly the Persian ambassador painting surrounded by his attendants. This is what we have the mainly one of the important paintings in the cave number 1. Now, if you go to cave number 2 here, which have some important paintings, that is Hamsa Jataka tale, the Jataka Hamsa Jataka story. So Buddha, before attaining the human, here mainly the life, here in his previous births he had undergone the different forms. We see that here he mainly was born in a form of an elephant. He was born in the form of a here Hamsa. So these are the animal forms which he had before the mainly he became the human being. So these are previous births. The previous birth, the Jataka mainly stories. So Hamsa Jataka, this is one of the important here the Jataka what we have got, and the painting of that is in the cave number 2, but it is almost a distorted painting what we have got. However, well preserved painting of cave number 2 is Miracle of Shravasti. Once again it is repeated here, Miracle of Shravasti. We will be seeing the painting in this cave number 2 photograph, we will be seeing that. So the Miracle of Shravasti, where Buddha multiplied himself into many forms. Then cave number 6 has the Buddha seated in Dharma Chakra Mudra and the Mahayana devotee. These two paintings are there in the cave number 6. So these two paintings also you can see them. This is the Miracle of Shravasti. So where you can see Buddha has multiplied himself into the different forms. It is also called as a 1000 Buddha here mainly painting. 1000 Buddha painting or the Miracle of Shravasti you can see. Here this is on the wall of the mainly the cave number 2 there. The Miracle of Shravasti, which is you can see these are all mainly the distorted part, where the painting is mainly now here withering out. The paint is withering out. So the protection is taken. UNESCO has mainly taken, and Archaeological Survey of India here is doing a yeoman job for the protection of the present paintings there. This is one of the most important painting we have got in cave number 2 as well as cave number 1, the Miracle of Shravasti there. Cave number 6, this is what I was mainly speaking. Buddha seated in the Dharma Chakra Mudra. You can see the Buddha being seated, but this is all now withered out. You can see these patches. Here it is all withered out. This is in the here Dharma Chakra Mudra. He is sitting in the Dharma Chakra Mudra, and this is a Mahayana devotee. A Mahayana devotee here is there. Mainly we here offering here mainly his prayers or here mainly his devotion. This is in cave number 6. Cave number 9 is a Hinayana Chaitya. It is a Hinayana Chaitya. Chaitya, as I told you, it is a prayer hall. You can get a picture of the Chaitya here, but both are same. Cave number 10 also you have got Hinayana Chaitya. I have given you the photograph of mainly Hinayana Chaitya there. Then we have got an inscription in Brahmi script of a Shatavana king Vashishta Putra Pulamayi, who was the successor of Gautami Putra Satakarni. He was the successor of the Gautami Putra Satakarni, Vashishta Putra Pulamayi, who belonged to the Shatavana dynasty. What I gave you, the evidences are there here to speak that these caves were excavated here under the different dynasties, Shatavahanas, Vakatikas, the Guptas and the early Chalukyas. So that is the evidence we have got. Buddha in a long robe. Robe is a cloth. So we have got these, the paintings and the inscription in cave number 10 there. So if you look at cave number 9, this is the Chaitya what we have got. See, this is the stupa, and this is in front of the stupa they will be sitting and offering the prayers. They will be sitting in front of the stupa and they do their mainly the prayers. And on the walls, pillars, you can see the paintings are there. On the pillars you can notice the paintings are there, but they have all withered out. They are all here mainly here falling down. So the protection is there only for the few. But you will get a Chaitya. And the Chaitya, you look at it, it is in a apsidal plan. You can see the apsidal plan. The apsidal plan, horseshoe. The Chaityas, they are excavated in that way. This is the stupa where in the front they will be sitting. Because remember, in Hinayana, there is no worship of Buddha in the form of here idol. So only in the Mahayana Chaitya you come across that idol worship. So but in Hinayana it is not present there. So this is cave number 9. The cave number 9 again here, that is what I showed you on the walls, the paintings. And this is the paintings in the ceilings, the flower designs. You can see they are being well protected there. Well conservation has taken place of this. This is a ceiling painting. At the top here the ceiling painting is there are paintings on the ceiling there. The cave number 10 also is a Chaitya as I told you, and you can find these paintings on the pillars. And one of the thing which I tell there, Buddha in a long robe. You can see this. This is Buddha in a long robe. A white cloth he is wearing. It is a long robe. This is Buddha what we have got. So which is present in the cave number 10. And this is the inscription in Brahmi script here and Prakrit language of Vashishta Putra Pulamayi. Vashishta Putra Pulamayi here belonging to the Shatavana period. Brahmi script is used and the Prakrit language. That is what we have got, the inscription. Now cave number 16. Very interesting paintings. Again, miracle of Shravasti is repeated, but the two other are very important. Sujata offering the food. A small girl offers the milk to Buddha there, and that is the painting we have got here at cave number 16. And Hasti Jataka. Hasti Jataka, it is mainly when here Buddha had taken the form of the elephant, and that elephant here, when the people were starving, the elephant mainly suggested to the people that you can go down the cliff and you can find the food. So the people here mainly here when they got this, they began to move to here down the cliff, down the valley, and the elephant mainly jumped and sacrificed its life. So it became the food to the people there. That is the story what we have got, the Hasti Jataka, and that is the painting we have got in the cave number 16. And cave number 17, Shad Danta Jataka. Shad Danta. Shad means 6. Shad Danta, 6 tusked here elephant. It is said that it sacrificed its mainly the tusks. 6, Shad means 6, Danta means the tusk, the here mainly the teeth, Jataka, and Darpana Sundari. This is I will speak it later when I show you that painting. So these paintings are very well preserved. 16 and 17 has a very good here preservation. Cave number 1 and 2, 16 and 17 have very good preservation of the paintings today there. So this is what you can look at the painting. You can just see here Sujata offering. You can see just the head of that mainly the girl there. Just the girl head you can see that. She is offering the milk to mainly Buddha. Buddha is holding his mainly the bowl there. So that is what we have got, the Sujata offering the food or the milk to Buddha there. This is Hasti Jataka. This is, you can see that these people are suffering from hunger. So it mainly says that you can just go down here the cliff and you will find here the food for you. So it jumps in this cliff. Cliff is the valley there, the pit, and sacrifice it, and it becomes the food to these here. That is about Hasti Jataka what we have got. Cave number 17, I was speaking about that Shaddanta Jataka. This elephant was having 6 tusks, and it sacrificed there. The 6 tusks that was sacrificed. This is the Shaddanta Jataka there. This is the painting I will be explaining to you now. Darpana Sundari. See, when we hear the word Darpana Sundari, immediately our mind goes to the Hoysala temples, where we have got a beautiful, mainly Madanika figures or the Shilabalikas, or what we popularly call it as the bracket figures also. And one of the most here beautifully carved out here the Shilabalika is Darpana Sundari. That is in the stone we have got it. Darpana Sundari means, Darpan means mirror, Sundari means the woman. The Darpan here mainly the woman is looking her face in the mirror there. So this is very popular what we have got in Hoysalas. That is in the stone in the Chanakeshwar temple of Belur, and in the Somnath temple of here the mainly the Somnath temple, Keshava temple, you can see these sculptures. But in the painting form you can notice it here. It is in the painting form. This is the mirror. The mirror has withered out, and she is particularly. This shows that they had that here mainly the aesthetic sense. They were very cautious about their beauty. They were very cautious about their dress. They were very cautious about here mainly here looking beautiful. That is what she is looking her face in the mirror there. And this is the painting we have got in cave number 17. This is most well preserved painting what we have got here of mainly the here Ajanta paintings. So these paintings what we have got in cave number 1, 2, 9, 10, 16, 17, these are some of the very important paintings which have been well preserved in this particularly here the out of 29 caves there. And others are very, the sculptures on the walls we have got in the form of bas reliefs dealing with the life of Buddha or Jataka stories. Here they are in the form of sculptures here. And just mainly to come to the last one, the cave number 26 I will be telling you. Cave number, there are totally 29 caves. Just this is the last one I will be discussing. The cave number 26, here it is a Chaitya. It is a Chaitya prayer hall. But what is the thing is, the sculpture of Mahaparinirvana, the most beautifully carved out the sculpture of a Mahaparinirvana, that is the last stage of Buddha here where he attains the Mahaparinirvana. Mahaparinirvana was attained by Buddha at Kushinagar in Uttar Pradesh. So that if you find a sleeping Buddha, usually that consider it as a Mahaparinirvana stage. So that is the sculpture which has available mainly in the last here the 26th cave there. You can see this is the sculpture what we have got of here Mahaparinirvana, Buddha in a sleeping posture, and that is the path of salvation what he will be doing. So this mainly the paintings here, the Ajanta paintings are the best example of the paintings of our ancient art, and these paintings had influenced the contemporary paintings also. For example, these paintings here during the Gupta period, we have these such paintings are there in Baga caves of Madhya Pradesh also, which belongs to the Gupta period there. So Baga caves in Madhya Pradesh, they have these paintings. They are well preserved, mainly the here another paintings, but they are inspired by the paintings of Ajanta. They are not that here mainly here what like Ajanta paintings we have got, but you can see those paintings that inspiration, influence of Ajanta paintings is there. And also on the contemporary Sri Lankan paintings which are belonging to of the 7th and 8th century at a place called Sirigiriya. We have got these paintings, the frescoes of Sirigiriya, which are again influenced by the Ajanta paintings. So that impact you can see of the Ajanta paintings on mainly the contemporary Here in India, such paintings were adopted. Even outside India, such paintings here were adopted. Here that influence you can see of this, mainly the Ajanta paintings. And the Ajanta paintings, it is the first historical site of India to be included in the UNESCO list. That was in 1983. The Ajanta caves were included in the UNESCO list there. So this is what we have mainly in this session about the frescoes of Ajanta or the paintings of Ajanta. Here this is one of the important topics, students, from your the mains examination point of view. So do prepare, take some of the points which we have discussed here. And with this, here I come to the end of this, mainly the session. And I would say, if you have not subscribed for the Classic Education YouTube channel, do it immediately, and I'll be back with you with another interesting aspect of the history. Thank you.